The colony on Orion 7 was quiet that morning, bathed in pale blue light from the twin suns above. The humans had settled here decades ago, seeking new resources and a chance to expand beyond Earth's crowded worlds. Captain Elias Drake walked along the perimeter of the settlement, his boots crunching softly on the rocky ground. He liked these moments of calm before the work of the day began. The colony had grown steadily, and life seemed almost ordinary, but Elias knew better. Out here, far from home, ordinary was dangerous. He stopped near the edge of the settlement, looking out over the jagged cliffs that marked the border of explored territory. The scanners on his wrist beeped softly, reporting normal readings. Still, he could feel it in his gut. Something was coming. His crew trusted him because he always noticed the small things, the ones that others overlooked. And today, something was off. Elias turned back toward the settlement, noting the activity below. Colonists moved in a quiet rhythm, carrying supplies, tending to equipment, or checking crops grown in carefully engineered soil pods. Among them was Dr. Liana Reese, the colony's lead xenobiologist. She waved as Elias passed. "Good morning, Captain. Any strange readings today?" By midday, the sun had climbed high into the sky, and the heat reflected off the metallic surfaces of the colony's structures. Suddenly, the quiet was shattered. The alarms blared, echoing across the cliffs. Red lights flashed, and the air shivered with the low hum of energy shields activating. "Alien raiders!" one of the security officers shouted, panic in his voice. Elias sprinted toward the command center, adrenaline pumping. "Report!" he barked. "They came out of nowhere," the officer replied. "Faster than anything we've seen before. Weapons are firing on the outskirts." His first thought was to protect the colonists, especially the most vulnerable. A strange sound caught his attention, a soft cry unlike the mechanical hum of the raiders' ships. Elias turned and saw her. A small alien child, no older than 10 by human standards, crouched behind a rock, trembling. Her skin was a soft silver, eyes wide and fearful. She wasn't part of the attack. She was just a child caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Without hesitation, Elias ran toward her. "It's okay, I've got you," he said calmly. The child's eyes flicked toward him, fear mixed with something else. Hope. A blast from one of the raiders' energy rifles hit the ground inches away from Elias, throwing dust and debris into the air. He shielded the child instinctively, pulling her behind him. Another shot came, striking his shoulder. Pain lanced through him, but he didn't falter. Protecting her was the only thing that mattered. The child clung to him, trembling. Elias gritted his teeth as another volley of energy bolts rained down. He knew he couldn't hold them off forever, but he refused to let the child be harmed. Humans were adaptable, he thought, and they had their limits, but so did the raiders. Quick thinking was the key. He scanned the area. The cliffside offered some cover, and he could hear the raiders moving, coordinating their attack. Elias spotted a narrow passage that led to a small canyon. "This way," he urged the child, leading her with care. They ran as fast as they could, Elias taking the blows that would have ended anyone else. Each strike bruised him, tore at his armor, and forced him to the ground briefly, but he rose again. He was human, and humans could endure when they had to. They reached the canyon, and Elias put himself between the child and the attackers. His breath came in harsh bursts, his body screaming for relief, but he held firm. The raiders hesitated for a moment, confused by his bravery. They had expected an easy target, a scared human protecting a child. Instead, they found a human who would not yield. Then from above, a shadow fell across the canyon floor. A massive figure landed gracefully, wings folding along a lithe silver body. Elias froze for a moment, staring at the alien who moved with precision and power. It was the mother. Her presence was commanding, her eyes sharp and intelligent. She did not attack, but her gaze pierced Elias, as if assessing his worth, his courage, and his honor. The raiders, sensing the mother's power, faltered. She made a sound, low and resonant, and they retreated, dissolving into the sky with speed that made Elias' heart pound. The child clung to him, still shaking but safe. Elias sank to one knee, wincing from pain but relieved that the immediate threat was gone. The mother approached, her movements measured and calm. She looked down at her child and then at Elias. There was no anger in her eyes, only curiosity and something like respect. Elias, still panting, lifted his hands slightly in a gesture of peace. "I didn't mean to interfere. I couldn't let anything happen to her." He had faced many dangers, but this, the recognition of a foreign species, intelligent and powerful, acknowledging him, was unlike anything he had ever experienced. The child, sensing the tension, whispered something in her own language. The mother's gaze softened, and she knelt, reaching out to the child. Then she looked back at Elias. You have taken the blows for her. That is significant. Elias winced again from his injuries, but stood tall. It was the right thing to do. Any human would have done the same, he thought, though he doubted any human would have stood so firm under such fire. The mother made a sound, a mixture of acknowledgement and interest. Come, we must speak. You have proven your value, human. Elias hesitated. Trusting an alien of such power was dangerous. But he also knew that retreat was not an option. To survive out here, humans had to adapt, learn, and sometimes place faith where it seemed impossible. He nodded. Lead the way. Its design was unlike anything human engineers had ever conceived, organic yet mechanical, sleek and intimidating. Inside, the environment was surprisingly welcoming. Soft lights illuminated the chamber, and the air was breathable without the need for masks. The child ran ahead to a small alcove, smiling at Elias for the first time. It was a simple gesture, but it filled him with a sense of purpose. He had done the right thing. The mother remained standing, observing him closely. You are brave, but bravery alone is not enough. You must understand the stakes that lie ahead. Your actions have consequences beyond your world. Elias listened intently, every sense alert. I understand. Tell me what you need me to know. Protecting the child had been instinct. Now the consequences of that act were far-reaching. He realized that the decisions of one human could ripple across species, across worlds. The mother finally spoke again. You have earned my attention. That is rare. Many attempt, few succeed. Remember, human, this is only the beginning. Elias nodded slowly. I understand. I will do my best. The child ran back to him, placing a small, delicate hand on his arm. Elias looked down at her and smiled faintly, ignoring the pain. She had survived because of him, and that mattered more than anything else. The alien mother stepped back, her eyes never leaving his. Rest now. The time will come when your courage will be tested again, and when that time comes, you must be ready. Elias allowed himself a moment to breathe, knowing he had survived the first wave. The colony was safe for now, but the universe was wide and unpredictable. And he, a human among stars, had already begun to make his mark in ways he had never imagined. He looked up at the alien mother, thinking about the battles ahead. He did not know what she desired from him, only that it would matter, for her child, and for humanity itself. And for the first time in weeks, he allowed himself to hope. Elias woke to the soft hum of the alien ship. The light around him was pale, almost soothing, and the metallic floor beneath him seemed to adjust to his weight, as if the ship itself was aware of his presence. The alien child, Lyra, was asleep nearby, curled in a small alcove that looked surprisingly like a human bed. He glanced at her and felt a quiet sense of responsibility. Protecting her was no longer just instinct, it had become a duty. The alien mother, Queen Solara, stood across the room, observing him. Her eyes were sharp and intelligent, reflecting curiosity more than hostility. Elias rose to his feet carefully, wincing from the pain in his shoulder. He had taken heavy blows during the raid, and though adrenaline had carried him through, his body was now demanding attention. You are awake, Solara said. Her voice resonated inside his mind again, soft but commanding. You have endured much for a being not your own. That is rare among your kind. Elias nodded. I did what anyone would have done, he said. His voice was calm, though his muscles ached with every movement. No, Solara replied. Few would have stood as you did. Courage is common, endurance is not. The ability to act without hesitation, even when the risk is personal, is rare. Elias considered her words. He had always believed humans could survive by adapting and thinking fast, but he had never imagined that a foreign species would place such value on individual bravery. And yet, he thought, here I am being measured by an alien queen. You saved Lyra, she continued. Your actions have consequences beyond her survival. I am compelled to understand your kind, and you have provided insight that many others cannot. Elias felt a mixture of pride and unease. Insight into humans. And why are you telling me this? Still, he sensed sincerity in Solara's voice, something he had not expected. And what do you want from me? He asked. Observe, learn, and participate, she said. There are threats approaching that endanger all we hold dear. You have been given an opportunity to act, not only for Lyra, but for your people as well. Elias swallowed. He had expected danger, raids, and conflict, but not diplomacy on this scale. He realized the universe was far larger than he had imagined, and humanity's place in it was uncertain. Yet he could not ignore the chance to protect his colony, his people, and now this child who had unwittingly become his responsibility. I will listen, he said finally. Tell me what I need to know. He had faced tests before, though none like this. His training, his experience in hostile environments, and his quick thinking had kept him alive many times. Yet this was different. He was not only defending himself or a colony, he was stepping into a world of intelligence and power far beyond anything humans had encountered. "Very well," he said. "Lead the way." He had heard legends of alien technology that was semi-sentient, but this surpassed anything he had imagined. As they approached the main chamber, Elias noticed the design was organic yet geometric, sleek lines merging with natural curves. The room was vast, and at its center sat a circular council table. Several alien figures were present, each unique in appearance but united by a sense of authority and intelligence. Their eyes fixed on him as he entered, measuring, analyzing. "This is the Council of Solara," she said. "They will speak with you, test you, and determine the potential of your species as allies." Elias' heart raced. Humans had met alien species before, but always in small groups, always with caution. To be here, facing a council of leaders from a species far stronger than humans, was unprecedented. He had no illusions about the gravity of the situation. Every word, every gesture, every decision could have consequences for his colony and humanity as a whole. The first council member spoke, her voice calm but penetrating. "You protected my daughter at great risk to yourself. Why did you do it?" Elias took a deep breath. "Because it was right. Because no child should face harm, whether human or alien. I could not stand by and do nothing." Yet courage alone is not sufficient. "Tell us, human, what do you value most?" Elias paused. He had never been asked this question in such a serious way, not by a human and certainly not by an alien. He thought of his colony, his friends, and now Lyra. "I value life, understanding, and the chance to protect those who cannot protect themselves. I value courage, but also the wisdom to know when to act. If we can work together, perhaps we can prevent future conflicts and protect more lives." A simulation appeared around them, projecting scenarios of cosmic threats, rogue asteroid fields, aggressive alien fleets, and unknown phenomena that threatened multiple systems. "These are the challenges ahead," Solara said. "You will not face them alone, but your species will need guidance, strength, and cleverness. We have watched humanity for some time, but only your actions today reveal your true potential." Elias studied the simulations. Each scenario was complex, unpredictable, and dangerous. He realized immediately that the council was testing more than his courage. They were testing his intellect, his problem-solving, and his ability to act under pressure. He stepped forward. "If these scenarios are simulations, then I can propose strategies based on what I know. I've led teams through hostile environments, dealt with unpredictable threats, and adapted quickly when plans failed. I can contribute." The rest of the day was filled with discussions, simulations, and strategic exercises. Elias proposed solutions, adjusted plans, and demonstrated patience and flexibility under observation. The council watched every move, measuring his instincts and intelligence. Lyra stayed nearby, observing him silently, occasionally offering small gestures of encouragement. By evening, Elias' shoulder and arms ached, but he had earned the respect of at least some members of the council. Solara approached him, her presence calming yet commanding. "You have performed well today. Few humans would have acted with such consistency under observation. The child you protected is safe, and in doing so, you have begun to earn trust that few outsiders receive." Elias bowed slightly, though he winced at the pain. "Thank you. I only did what I thought was right." These skills will be tested far more rigorously than today's exercises. Elias nodded. He understood. This was not merely a test of courage or intelligence. It was a preparation for a much larger challenge, one that could determine the future of his colony and perhaps humanity itself. As the chamber emptied, Lyra ran to him. "You're amazing," she whispered. Elias smiled faintly, touched by her trust. "You were brave too," he said. "We protected each other." For now, he allowed himself a moment of quiet, knowing that courage, honor, and trust were more powerful than any weapon. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, vast and uncharted. And somewhere among them, threats were coming, waiting for the moment when humans and aliens alike would have to prove their worth. Elias felt ready, not because he was unafraid, but because he had faced fear before and faced it for others. Tomorrow, the real tests would begin, and he would stand, as he always had, prepared to take the blows for those who could not protect themselves. The morning light on Solara's world was soft, yet it revealed the vastness of her capital. Elias stepped out of the ship, his body still sore from the raid and the council's observations, but his mind was alert. Today, he was to face the trials that would determine whether humans could truly be trusted allies. These were not tests of strength alone. They were designed to measure courage, intelligence, empathy, and patience. Solara walked beside him, her gaze scanning the surroundings as if reading every detail. "The trials are not meant to break you human," she said. "They are meant to show you the breadth of challenges you will face if you walk the path of alliance. Fail, and the consequences could be far-reaching." "I'll do my best." "You will navigate the maze and recover the crystal at its center. Many fail because they focus only on speed. Remember, intelligence guides endurance." Drawing on his experience in human survival training, he took a steady breath and began moving deliberately, observing patterns in the walls and the way the symbols flickered. Hours passed. Elias encountered illusions, images of threats that weren't real, obstacles that vanished as soon as he approached, and even strange echoes of his own voice whispering doubts. Each time he felt fear creeping in, he reminded himself of Lyra and the colony he had left behind. Courage was more than facing enemies. It was maintaining focus when all else seemed uncertain. Finally, he reached the center of the maze. The crystal hovered slightly above a pedestal, glowing softly. Elias extended a hand, careful not to touch the symbols on the floor. The crystal responded to his presence, lifting slowly into his palm. A voice echoed in the courtyard. "You have completed the first test. You understand that speed without thought is meaningless. That is commendable. The next trial will test your judgment and empathy. Some appear to be in peril, but the true challenge is identifying which need help and which do not. Acting without thought may harm the innocent." Others seemed trapped but were actually fine, testing the observer's patience. He focused, observing movements, listening to subtle signals in the creature's behavior, and choosing carefully which to free first. A wrong move could injure them. He worked slowly, deliberately, freeing only those truly in danger. Hours passed, and he grew more confident in his ability to read situations quickly while remaining precise. Finally, the council's voice rang out. "You have acted with patience and judgment. You show empathy but also discernment. Few species can balance compassion with intelligence. Humans are surprising. I've learned that observation is as important as action. One without the other can be dangerous. A simulation of hostile forces has been placed in this canyon. Your task is to protect the colony below using only the tools provided. Strategy, improvisation, and leadership are essential." He had learned from experience that the mind treats simulated danger as real when the consequences are immediate. He began organizing the defenses. Using energy barriers, projection devices, and drones, he set up a layered defense system. The raiders attacked in unpredictable patterns, forcing him to adapt quickly. When a drone failed, he redirected others, creating new tactics on the fly. Every decision tested his ingenuity and speed of thought. Hours passed, but Elias refused to yield. The council watched silently, noting his problem-solving, his patience under pressure, and his ability to inspire confidence in the automated units he commanded. Finally, the simulation ended. The colony was safe, the raiders neutralized. The council member spoke again. "You have demonstrated not only courage but leadership. Many species rely on brute force, but humans show adaptability, innovation, and the willingness to sacrifice for others. That is rare in the galaxy." Every test prepared him for challenges far greater than these controlled environments. Solara approached him as the council dispersed. "You are learning quickly, human. That is good. But there is one final trial today, one that tests all your qualities simultaneously." Reflections of him appeared in every direction, some distorted, some magnified. A holographic projection flickered to life, showing scenarios of human colonies, alien cities, and the fragile balance of peace in the galaxy. "Your task," the projection said, "is to identify the greatest threat to stability and propose a solution. You will face obstacles that challenge perception, patience, judgment, and courage simultaneously. Failure here reveals the weakness of the mind, not the body." He had learned that fear and confusion often cloud judgment. He focused on the principles that guided him: protection of life, careful observation, and intelligent action. He moved through the room deliberately, separating the scenarios that were critical from those that were distractions. He proposed strategies that addressed both immediate dangers and long-term consequences. Each decision was tested in real time by the projections, simulating ripple effects across multiple systems. Hours passed, and the council remained silent, observing every move. Finally, the holograms faded. The chamber was quiet, save for the sound of his own breath. A council member spoke. "You have acted with integrity, intelligence, and courage. You show patience, empathy, and leadership. Few species demonstrate these qualities in such a balanced way. Humans may be underestimated, but today you have proven your potential." "You have succeeded in the trials," she said. "Few humans would have balanced all aspects so well. This is only the beginning, but it is a significant beginning. You have demonstrated that your species is capable of extraordinary cooperation and endurance." Elias nodded. "Thank you. I've learned a lot about you, your culture, and myself. I realize now that courage alone is not enough. Intelligence and empathy are just as important." Elias allowed himself a brief smile. "Then I will continue to do my best, for Lyra, for my people, and for the future we share." The council dispersed, but Solara remained, her gaze lingering on him. "You have earned respect," she said softly, "but respect alone does not guarantee survival. Remember this, human, for tomorrow you will face tests that will not forgive mistakes." Elias nodded, aware of the weight of her words. He had survived challenges that tested mind and spirit, but the universe held dangers far beyond any trial chamber. Yet, for the first time, he felt a quiet confidence. He had proven that humans could endure, adapt, and act with honor, even under observation by the most intelligent and powerful beings he had ever met. And as night fell over Solara's capital, Elias Drake understood that his journey had only just begun. The trials were complete, but the real challenge, protecting his colony, navigating alien alliances, and facing the unknown, was still ahead. He would meet it, as he always had, with courage, intelligence, and a willingness to act for others. The sun rose over Solara's capital, casting long shadows across the towers and crystalline spires. Elias Drake stood on a balcony overlooking the city, his mind replaying the trials of the past days. He had passed them all, showing courage, intelligence, and empathy. Yet the real challenge had not yet begun. Today, the universe would test him in ways no simulation could replicate. Solara approached, her presence calm but commanding. "You have learned much, human. The Council has acknowledged your abilities, but now you will face a threat that is very real, and your decisions will impact lives, not tests." "What is happening?" This was the moment he had prepared for in the trials, though nothing could fully prepare him for the chaos of real battle. He glanced at Lyra, who had joined him. Her small hand rested on his arm, and he felt a surge of protectiveness. He would not allow her or any innocent life to be harmed. "We must act quickly," he said. "We cannot wait for them to attack first. We need a strategy, and we need to use every advantage we have." Aliens and humans moved together, sharing data and coordinating defenses. Elias took a deep breath, focusing on the task ahead. He began by analyzing the enemy fleet's trajectory. The raiders moved in tight formations, but their patterns were predictable to a trained eye. Using this knowledge, Elias began issuing orders, positioning ships and energy barriers to anticipate attacks while creating opportunities for countermeasures. The first wave of raiders arrived with a sudden flare in the sky. Their ships were sleek and fast, firing energy weapons at the outer defenses. Human engineers worked alongside alien operators, adjusting shields and redirecting power. Elias stayed calm, directing movements with precision. When one human pilot hesitated, he offered clear instructions. "Move to the left flank and intercept the fast ships. Do not engage directly, focus on herding them into the traps." Raider ships, confused by the unexpected coordination between humans and aliens, collided with energy nets or were pushed into areas where concentrated fire disabled them. Elias watched the battle unfold, heart-pounding, but he remained focused. He had learned from the trials that panic could undo even the best strategies. Suddenly, a smaller, more aggressive group of raiders broke through the outer defenses, heading directly for the colony below. Elias spotted them immediately. "They're targeting the colony. Divert the drones to intercept." Despite their combined efforts, some raiders slipped through, landing near the colony's protective barriers. Elias did not hesitate. He boarded a small craft, taking the fastest route to the threatened sector. The battle was intense. Raiders moved unpredictably, but Elias relied on his experience and instincts. He dodged blasts, maneuvered through narrow passages, and coordinated with both human and alien units. When one raider attempted to breach the colony gates, Elias anticipated the move, blocking its path and forcing it to retreat. Lyra watched from the command center, her eyes wide. "You're amazing, Ilias," she whispered. He gave her a small nod, knowing she trusted him completely. That trust fueled his determination. The raiders regrouped for a second assault, this time targeting the city's energy core. Ilias quickly devised a plan. "We'll create a decoy core using holographic projections and move the real core to a secure location. Split their forces, confuse them, and then strike when they are disoriented." Human engineers worked with alien technicians to project the holographic decoy while the real core was moved through a hidden tunnel network. Ilias coordinated every movement, predicting the raiders' reactions based on patterns he had observed. As expected, the raiders fell for the decoy. Their attention focused on the holographic core while Ilias directed fighters to strike from above and below. The coordinated attack caught the raiders off guard, and one by one, their ships were disabled or forced to retreat. Ilias allowed himself a brief moment to breathe. The immediate threat had been neutralized, but the battle was not over. He turned to Solara. "They're retreating, but they'll come back. We need to strengthen defenses and anticipate their next move." It was a rare sight, one that showed the potential for cooperation across species. He felt a quiet pride, knowing that courage alone had not won this battle. Intelligence, planning, and trust had made the difference. But the battle was not yet over. Sensors detected a new wave approaching from a different direction, larger and more aggressive than before. Ilias did not hesitate. "Prepare all units. We will need to split forces, maintain communication, and adapt to their tactics in real time. This is not a test. We are defending lives." When one unit faltered, he quickly adjusted the strategy, ensuring that no sector was left vulnerable. During the chaos, a small group of raiders managed to land near Lyra's location. Ilias reacted instantly. He piloted his craft toward them, weaving through fire and debris, and intercepted the raiders before they could reach the child. With quick thinking and careful action, he neutralized the threat without unnecessary harm, demonstrating that bravery and intelligence could coexist. The battle continued for hours. Ilias worked tirelessly, coordinating defenses, predicting enemy movements, and inspiring those under his command. Each decision mattered, each action had consequences. Slowly but surely, the raiders began to falter. Human ingenuity, combined with alien technology and strategic planning, created an advantage the attackers had not anticipated. Finally, the last raider ship was forced to retreat. The sky, once filled with fire and chaos, now cleared, leaving the colony and city intact. Ilias landed his craft and stepped out, exhausted but alive. Around him, humans and aliens celebrated quietly, repairing damage and checking on one another. There were no cheers or fanfare. This was survival, and everyone understood the stakes. Solara approached Ilias, her eyes reflecting a mixture of respect and approval. "You have exceeded all expectations, human. Not only did you protect the child and the colony, but you demonstrated leadership, intelligence, and courage under extreme conditions. The Council is unanimous. Your species has proven its value as an ally. But few have the foresight, patience, and adaptability that you displayed. That is what sets your species apart." Lyra ran up to him, her eyes shining. "You saved everyone," she exclaimed. Ilias smiled faintly, ruffling her hair. "We saved each other," he said, "and will continue to do so." Ilias had proven that humans could endure, adapt, and lead, even when faced with overwhelming odds. Courage alone had not been enough. Strategy, observation, and cooperation had turned the tide. As the sun set over Solara's capital, Ilias looked out at the stars, understanding that this battle was only the beginning. The universe was vast and full of threats, but humans had shown that they could rise to challenges, protect the innocent, and act with honor. Solara placed a hand on his shoulder. "Rest now, human, you have earned it. But remember, vigilance is eternal. New challenges will arise, and you will need to be ready. The universe is vast, and courage must always be tempered with wisdom." New threats were coming, and humanity's place in the galaxy was still uncertain. Yet he felt a quiet confidence. He had proven that humans could endure and thrive, even in a universe that tested everything they were. And as he gazed at the stars, Ilias Drake understood that the true challenge was not the battles themselves, but the choices he would make, the lives he would protect, and the courage he would continue to show in the days ahead. Humanity had arrived, and it was ready to face whatever the universe would send. The morning air on Solara's world carried a sense of calm that was almost unbelievable after the chaos of the previous days. Elias Drake stood on a high balcony overlooking the city, watching the early light reflect off the crystalline towers. The battle was over, the raiders had been repelled, and the humans and aliens were working together in the aftermath. Yet, Elias knew the universe would not remain calm for long. New threats were inevitable. Still, today was about rebuilding and understanding the true potential of unity. Lyra ran past him, her laughter ringing through the air. She had spent the morning helping the human engineers understand aspects of the alien technology, guided by Solara's advisors. The sight of the two species learning from each other brought Elias a quiet sense of hope. Protecting her had been his first priority, and now he realized the work of protection extended far beyond a single life. It could shape the future of civilizations. Solara approached him, her steps deliberate and measured. "The Council wishes to formally acknowledge the humans' contribution," she said. "Your species has proven courage, intelligence, and loyalty. More than that, you have shown that humans can be trusted allies in the galaxy. I did it to protect life, alien or human alike." Inside, humans and aliens worked side by side, repairing ships, recalibrating shields, and analyzing the raiders' tactics. The council members watched from elevated positions, nodding at Elias as he entered. His presence symbolized the bridge between two species, an example of humanity's potential. One of the council members, a tall alien with golden eyes, spoke. "Human, your species, ingenuity and courage have exceeded expectations. We now see that cooperation between our people is not only possible but essential for survival. You have acted with foresight and honor, qualities rare even among advanced species. If we share knowledge and work together, we can protect lives and prevent future conflicts. There is one final step, an alliance that binds our people in trust, not obligation." The ceremony of alliance was simple yet profound. Humans and aliens stood together, representatives of both species pledging cooperation. Solara extended her hand toward Elias, not as a command, but as an invitation to unity. Elias shook it firmly, feeling the weight of trust and responsibility in her grasp. "This bond," Solara said, her voice resonating clearly in his mind, "is more than a treaty. It is a promise. Humans and our people will share knowledge, defend one another, and act as partners in a galaxy that is unpredictable and often unforgiving. Understanding, planning, and empathy are equally essential. We will work together as equals." In the following days, the humans began learning alien technology and tactics, guided by Solara's counsel. Likewise, aliens observed human ingenuity and adaptability. Elias oversaw training exercises, simulations, and collaborative projects. The colony's engineers shared ideas for energy management, defense, and agriculture, while aliens introduced advanced materials, energy systems, and communication techniques. Elias realized that the greatest victories were not measured by battles won, but by understanding shared between people. Humans had survived countless challenges through adaptability and ingenuity, and now these qualities could benefit not just their own species, but another intelligent civilization as well. One afternoon, as he walked through the council chambers, Solara spoke again. "Human, your actions have changed how we view your species. You have shown that courage combined with intelligence and empathy creates possibilities others cannot foresee. You have ensured that humans are no longer outsiders, but partners. That's what makes humanity strong. We endure, we think, and we protect others." Trade routes were established, communication channels opened, and mutual understanding grew. Elias watched humans working alongside aliens, seeing barriers of distrust replaced by cooperation and respect. He felt pride not for himself, but for what humanity could achieve. During a quiet evening, he stood again on the balcony with Lyra. She held a small device she had built with human and alien components, her eyes glowing with curiosity and excitement. "Look, Elias, I made it work. And you will. One day, your courage and intelligence will shape the galaxy, just like mine did." Humanity had shown that it was not only capable of survival, but of leadership, cooperation, and ingenuity. Solara joined him quietly. "Human, the galaxy is vast and threats will always arise, but today you have shown that your species has the potential to face them with wisdom and courage. Remember this moment. It is a beginning, not an end. Humanity has learned, and we will continue to grow. We will face whatever comes next with intelligence, bravery, and the willingness to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Courage guided by wisdom is a rare gift, and today you have shared it with the galaxy. Lyra tugged at his sleeve. Elias, will you teach me more tomorrow? Humans and aliens worked together, side by side, proving that unity was stronger than division, that intelligence and courage could protect lives, and that the choices of one human could influence the fate of entire civilizations. Elias breathed deeply, feeling the weight and the hope of it all. Humanity had arrived in the galaxy, not through conquest, but through courage, ingenuity, and empathy. And now, with allies at their side and lessons learned, they were ready to face whatever challenges the universe would send next. As night fell completely, he looked up at the stars, silent and endless. Each one was a possibility, a challenge, and a world waiting to be understood. And for the first time in his life, Elias felt certain that humanity, with its courage, intelligence, and heart, could rise to meet it all. For the first time, he allowed himself to hope, not just for survival, but for greatness. Humanity was no longer on the edge of the galaxy. It was part of the galaxy's future. And with that thought, Elias Drake turned back toward the city, ready for whatever came next, confident that together, humans and their new allies could face anything.